How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional evening. All right. Now, there's been some great news in regards to student loans. Student loans have been an issue, especially since when you think about, I say between the year of 2005 up till now, 2022. Student loans have been insane. The interest rates have been insane. It's just basically, my personal opinion, it's been a racket. And I remember even myself, paying for college via a credit card, and then working for a company that actually did a tuition reimbursement. So I would basically take two classes a semester. It took me longer to get my degree, but I would take two classes a semester, pay for it with my credit card, and then get reimbursed with the make monthly payments on my credit card, then get reimbursed with the money from the company and whatnot. So that worked out for me. That's how I figured out a way to do that. And luckily, I was fortunate enough to be able to get a job, a good paying job, without having a college degree, because most people in this country did not have that option during that time. I'm talking about the time frame between 2008 to 2015 or whatnot. So around that time. Now, one of the biggest problems is now, because we live in a world now where a lot of corporations have given up on this whole there was a time from the 1980s all the way up till today, where corporations, the main thing was you had to have a degree. You had to have a degree. You had to have a degree. If you wanted to be a manager on any job, you had to have a degree. If you wanted to be a project manager on any job, whether if it was in construction, whether if it was in finance, banking industry, um, even if you were at a plant and whatnot, um, if you were working at a specific retail store, certain instances, not all, but if you were, working for a government entity, you were working for a tech corporation, you were working for a banking institution on any level. And if you wanted to get ahead, insurance company, if you wanted to get ahead, you had to have a college degree. That was the main thing. You had to have from the 1980s all the way to about around 2018, 19 time frame and whatnot. You had to have a degree. You had to have a degree. You had to have a degree. If you were going to be a contractor for a government entity, federal, state, local, you had to have a degree. If you wanted to get into the IT industry, you had to have a degree. Every industry, if you can name that you can name, you had to have a freaking degree. Now, outside of being a doctor on any level, psychology, medical professional doctor, a dentist, whatever have you, a lawyer, an engineer. I get those specific trades. I mean, those specific career fields to become a doctor. I mean, to have a degree and all that great stuff. However, however, outside of that category and to become a teacher, you had to have a college degree. Even though in a lot of instances, a lot of school districts have gotten rid of that specific requirement because they're like, hey, there's a very big teacher shortage because of the lack of pay and because of the nonsense that unfortunately in the politics that comes with being a teacher and whatnot. If you ever even Google specifically on YouTube on why I quit being a teacher, I'm not a teacher, but if you Google that, you will see a multitude of YouTube videos come up on people who used to teach in various different school districts all over the United States of America, and it lets you know why they quit that profession and moved on to do something else. All right. So it's just, and 9 times out of 10, it's not the students, but it's just dealing with the administration or whatnot. 9 times out of 10, those people are not even, have never even taught a class a day in their life and whatnot. But, anyways, I digress. Now, so the crazy thing is, you had to have a degree to become a teacher. You had to have a degree to become a principal. You had to have a degree. You had to have a degree. Now, there was one time in the United States of America where getting a degree was not overpriced. It was not insane. It was not crazy the way it is now. It wasn't normal to have 100,000, 80,000 to $100,000 in debt at the age of 22 and 25 years old with a college degree. Now it's very normal, but it wasn't normal during that time frame of the 70s, the 80s. It started happening even in throughout the 90s and whatnot. It really started to happen between the mid to late 2000s or whatnot, 2005 to 2010 time frame. That's when the college thing got out of control. All right. Now, before I go into the whole, Joe Biden forgives, whether I don't care if you're for Joe Biden or against Joe Biden. I don't do politics here, so I'm just letting you know that now. So whatever your political feelings are, we do economics here because at the end of the day, regardless of sitting in the White House, governor's house, and mayor's house, economics is going to flow regardless of the situation. So that's why I don't do politics. But anyways, my personal feelings on the whole student loan debt. One, it's a great thing that a certain amount of debt is going to be forgiven. But two, the whole student loan thing, it's crazy because when I think about it now, I remember once I turned 18, I got 1,000 envelopes from credit card companies saying, "Hey, um, would you like to sign up with a credit card for us?" So when I'm just getting started in life, I know nothing about credit. I'm just learning cash, how to utilize cash money and utilize the banking savings account, checkings and savings account, and things of that nature. I tore all those things up. When I started going to school, I kept getting letters from agencies, institutions to ask me, "Hey, why won't you take this specific student loan or whatnot? Why won't you sign up with FAFSA and all that great stuff? Hey, you and Sally Mae, you guys can get together." That's why shout out to D1, the great rapper artist. He said, "Look, if you never heard the song, look up the song from D1, the artist. Not D1, but yeah, D1, the artist." He says, I finished paying Sally Mae back. Great, great freaking song. Love that song because when he paid the rest of his student loans off with um his bonus from becoming a rap artist. So when as soon as he signed to the label and whatnot, and he got it in advance, that's what they call it, not a bonus, but in advance. He used that money to pay off his student loans off, plus do other things. And he made a song about it. I finished paying Sally Mae back, Mae back. But anyways, I digress. But my biggest pet peeve with student loans, whether people get them or not, is that it boggles my mind how it's so easy for one person to be able to get a student loan before they can get a car note. It boggles my mind how a person can get a student loan before getting access to being able to purchase a home. It boggles my mind that a person can get a student loan. You have no credit or bad credit, you can still get a student loan, but you cannot get a business loan. That says a lot right there, family. Can't get a car loan, can't get a home loan, can't get a business loan, but you can get a student loan, which is a trap, especially given the fact that a lot of people who even go to college do not end up finishing college. Because the problem with college, and I was talking about this with a gentleman the other day, it's not meant for everybody. Society tried to make it look like it's if you don't go to college, then you're going to be a loser. I remember this specifically in high school. They showed the differences in salaries and whatnot of college graduates and high school graduates, and obviously college graduates are going to be higher. And with that mindset, you're telling teenagers at the time, and of course they're going to, and I didn't even start going to school until my mid 20s because for me, I wanted to have money. So I worked 2 to 3 jobs. I was about saving my money and investing my money. I was about getting my money right and get my money tight before I even thought about going to school because I didn't care about the prestige of getting the college degree and being a part of a fraternity and all that other stuff. That wasn't me. And I know in my 20s, in my late teens, early 20s and whatnot, I had the mindset and the energy to put in the hours to work and not write papers and write things and attend classes and things of that nature about subject matters that I really didn't care about. And then when I got older, I had more of a discipline to be like, okay, now that you got your money right, now it's time to get your education. So that's what I did. But I never took out a student loan. I remember even when I went to another school, and I said, yeah, I'll just pay for it myself. And they're like, you sure it's real expensive? Why don't you just take the student loans and whatnot? I'm just like, no, I know. I'm at an age now where I get how this thing works. I'm not going to be up to my ears in debt going to school. I'm good. And they looked at me like I was a ghost, but I never did it. Especially when you think about these private colleges that screwed a lot of people over, from the ITT Techs, and Everest College and things of that nature, where a lot of people, even if they did get a degree from there, my friend Chris was on here a couple of weeks ago talking about, hey, nobody recognizes my degree, and I got it from ITT Tech. I still got to pay on the student loans. I went through all the classes, did everything right, and I got the degree, but no company will recognize a degree from this private institution. And that's just jacked up. I don't care how you slice and dice it at the end of the day. That's messed up. But we now live in a time frame where the good thing about today's world is that a lot of young people get that you don't have to become successful. You don't have to necessarily get a degree. You can get a skilled trade. You can get certified in certain things, especially in the IT world. You don't, unless you're working to be a program manager, you don't have to have a college degree. Okay, you can get a good paying job in the IT world and by getting certifications. You can get a decent job in the medical profession by getting certifications. You don't have to necessarily get a college degree. Okay. So a college degree is not what it used to be. And I see a lot of curriculums being eliminated from college eventually, especially philosophy degrees and liberal arts degrees. I see those getting eliminated in the near future because I just don't see in today's world of podcasting and books, there's audible books and whatnot. There's just no reason for anybody to sit in the classroom listening about philosophy and the history of a specific race when they can just Google it and listen to a podcast or read the book or listen to an audible about it and whatnot. So I see that disappearing. But my biggest point at the end of the day when it comes to this whole thing is that um, a lot of people got screwed over, especially that's why financial literacy has become so important because a lot of people got screwed over during I say like I said the early the mid 2000s till today because not realizing that hey, the interest rates are going to kill you. I know people that make six figures and they're still paying off the student loan debts. And when your average salary in the United States is between 40,000 and 60, $70,000, and I know people that make double that make up to 150,000 to $200,000 a year, and they're still paying off the student loan debts. It says a lot. But anyways, I digress. So let's get into some numbers here, family. Good on me. I love to get into numbers, and let's get into the facts and figures because I have to get into this because I'm speaking from a place of I've never had a student loan. I was fortunate. To my people that were in the military. I actually, the more I've learned, it's like I actually really commend people that not only were in service and serve the country and all that great stuff, but I commend the people that understand that okay, I'm going to go into service. They're going to get a body to utilize how they're ever going to utilize it, but I'm going to into the service so I can get access to free college education, possibly VA benefits, and being able to get small business loans as a veteran owned business from the Small Business Administration. Going in there, going into in the United States military services with that strategic mindset, it's a very beautiful thing. Okay. I'll leave it at that. All right. But, anyways, according to Value Penguin, the average student debt in the United States of America is $32,000, while the median student loan debt amount is $17,000. With the rising cost of tuition in total, student loan debt up around 302% since 2004. We decided to break down the data to get a better understanding of the different levels of student loan debt across different types of borrowers and whatnot. Because obviously, it's not a one stop shop. We are in a capitalist society, so it's not a one stop shop, and it never will be. All right, but the average student loan debt per borrower is $32,000. Total student loan debt is $1.52 trillion. Number of student loan borrowers, $44.7 million. Connecticut has the highest student loan debt for the class of 2017 at $36,000. I mean, $38,000. Student loan debt for borrowers 60 and over has increased by 1,256% from 2004. All right. So that says a lot right there. And this will be the last part I read. The average college debt among student loan borrowers, 32,000, according to the Federal Reserve. This is an increase approximately of 20% from 2015 to 2016. Most borrowers have between $25,000 and $50,000 outstanding in student loan debt, but more than 600,000 borrowers in the country are over $200,000 in student loan debt, and that number may continue to increase. So Not only one is that is very important to really just delve into and whatnot, but the debt principle, and it's gotten to so bad to the point where a lot of people couldn't even afford to buy a home. It's bad for a business. It's bad for America. It's bad for the banks. It's bad for the local governments and whatnot because then they miss out on the local taxes. Insurance companies miss out on monthly insurance payments. Mortgage companies and banks miss out on people paying a mortgage, things of that nature, and then contractors miss out on people being able to call them when something bad happens to the house and they need something to get fixed. So real estate, things of that nature matter to the economy. Those are I just named a multitude of businesses and governments that will lose out on money if people cannot afford to buy a home. All right. Now, another thing to take into consideration here, family, is that with all this amount of debt, and then when people they want to have a family, if they want to get a car, that's going to cost money. Okay, that's going to cost money. And then the thing is, the nail in the coffin when it comes to student loan debt, it's the only thing. If you don't make it, like if you want to leave the country and whatnot, and if you defaulted on your student loans, the passport office can actually revoke your passport. People don't realize that. All right, just like if you don't pay child support or spousal support, people can revoke your passport so you can't leave the United States of America. People don't realize this. Everything in America is a business, regardless who's sitting in the White House, governor's house, mayor's house. Is it a bad thing? No, but everything is a business. That's why we all have to think like business-minded, economic-minded, and investment-minded people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything negative in a negative connotation. What I'm saying is being able to think like this matters, and implementing these thoughts in your everyday life matters. Everything is business. It is what it is. I've said it 1,000 times. From your birth certificate to your insurance, your death certificate, health insurance, life insurance, school, gas, car, mortgage, rent, food, whatever. Everything is a business. This is what I'm very passionate about. If you cannot tell by the sound of my voice, family. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the details of why I'm making this video tonight. All right, because regarding to the average amount of student loan debt, this is up till 2017. All right, but President Joe Biden has issued forgiving $10,000 worth of student loan debt. And let's get into the specifics of what it is. Like I said, I'm very grateful that I've not fallen into this category. I know a lot of people have, and I know it's not easy. You know what I mean? I know it's not easy, and a lot of people have to, deal with this on a regular basis. I never forget seeing in this one documentary years ago how airline pilots, people to become an airline pilot, a person had up to $100,000 in student loan debt. $100,000. This is back in 2009, 10 time frame. I'll never forget that. It's just insane. I never forget how emotional this one woman to become a pilot because they love to fly. All right. They love to fly and they just do anything that they could to become a pilot and whatnot. And I commend everybody who's getting into that industry. That's actually something I wouldn't mind learning how to do is become. I'd probably be a little scared to be honest with you, but I would not mind to learn how to fly and get my pilot's license. That's a life goal. Not saying it's gonna happen today, not saying it's gonna happen tomorrow, but one day I can see myself taking some airline lessons or whatnot. I mean, pilot lessons. I think that'd be pretty cool. I used to work with a young lady who became a pilot, and unfortunately, she crashed. This was years ago. This is before the pandemic, and then she said as soon as she gets better, she's going to get right back on that plane and start flying again. So I got nothing but love and respect for people like that. But anyways, let's get into this. Remember, I'm not doing politics. I'm reading this verbatim from Yahoo Finance. All right, so keep your political feelings out of it. President Biden is expected to make a decision on student debt cancellation as soon as tomorrow. Now, the White House is considering canceling up to $10,000 in student debt for borrowers who make less than $125,000 a year. President must also decide if he will extend current pause on federal student loan payments for a fifth time. That pause is set to expire at the end of the month of August 31st. And I know for a lot of people that helped him out, hopefully, I know things have been crazy and inflation has been insane, but I would hope that the people who were able to enjoy the pause of student loan payments because of the pandemic, the pause of not having to pay your mortgage and whatnot, and the pause of not having to pay your rent. I would hope those who are actually working or even getting um, unemployment checks put money away. People were saying this in 2020, and I was saying it then, and I'm saying it now. That time frame when you didn't have to make all those payments on those things was the best freaking time to put money away. One of the biggest money moves one can make is not investing, it's saving, because rainy days from an economic standpoint will always come regardless of the situation, family. All right. Okay. Now, the article says some saying it goes way too far, others are saying simply not enough, not far enough. I don't think this is going too far at all. $10,000 in 2022 is not a lot of money. And you see, I've read the figures in regards to your average student loan debt. It's up to 30 something thousand dollars. So, if it's, what was it? $32,000. So you do the math. If you take off $10,000, you still have a $22,000 debt. I don't think it's that far. Now, if you wiped out the whole debt, that may be far, maybe a very far and whatnot. But a lot of people will say if that was to happen, it could somewhat collapse the American economy because remember, the U.S. economy lives off of the debt principle. People being in debt to pay student loans back, people being in debt to pay mortgages and rents, people being in debt paying credit card bills off, people being in debt paying a car note off. Okay, debt, diggity, debt, diggity, debt, debt, debt. Okay, excuse me. Is there anything wrong with that system? Absolutely not. But I'm saying that the debt principle helps drive the U.S. economy. Let's just think about it. If in the United States of America, if nobody didn't have a mortgage, if nobody had a rent to pay, nobody had a car note, nobody had student loan payments, nobody ever had credit card debt, I don't think capitalism would be as successful as it is right now. I'm just keeping it real. It's a system of winners and losers. So if you're constantly in debt, especially in bad debt, then quote unquote, you're considered a quote unquote loser. I'm not calling people losers, but I'm just looking at it from a pragmatic standpoint. All right. The winner is the one who's collecting the debt payments because they're collecting the interest on the home loan, the interest on the car loan, the interest on the student loan debt. Okay. The interest on the credit card debt. Like credit card companies hate me because they never have, it's only maybe been twice as long as I've had a credit card where they've been able to collect debt on me. I mean, collect interest on my debt. Usually, when I acquire debt, I don't allow it to go but so far. So the credit card company's mad because it's like they don't get to charge me interest payments because I pay my debts off immediately. I utilize the credit cards to get air miles, to get cash back rewards, and be able to get cheaper prices when I make certain purchases with specific vendors with the credit card company. Okay, so that's how I utilize that. But they don't like me. They consider me to be a bad customer because I'm always paying them back before even before the bill is due. So therefore, they can't collect debt on. I mean, they can't collect interest on me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything immoral or illegal and whatnot. But they expect most people to be in debt for months and whatnot so that they can collect on the interest payments. That's the whole way that a mortgage is set up, car notes are set up, and even student loans are set up and whatnot. That's why you have so many successful title max companies and loan max companies. Because I remember I've known people that have worked there, went out with women that worked at those places, and they told me about the amount of freaking the interest rates could be up to 30 or 40% or whatnot for somebody to borrow against their vehicle as long as they have the title to the vehicle and whatnot. And I'm just like, it's astronomical. But a lot of people do it. For some people, it actually works out economically. But for a lot of people, it doesn't. And and then the company ends up taking the car. So that just says a lot right there. You know what I mean? It's just like it's deep, but there's a reason why those companies exist because they I mean, even like what is it like back in the day, the check cashing places, they would take a lot of money by cashing your places. I mean, cashing your checks. And this is back in the day when everything's digital now. If you're still getting a paper check in 2022, I question your employer on a very, very big level, especially with all the services that are out here nowadays. You got so many ways you can pay people via Venmo, via PayPal, via Cash App. There's so many ways to pay people online nowadays that you don't even have, you don't need to be able to issue out a physical check anymore. But I'm just going back in the day. I remember my friend would, because he did not have a bank account, he would get off of, whenever he got paid, he went to the check cashing place, and they took, like, his check would be maybe $300-400, but he would only get like say if it was $400, he would only get like $320 or whatnot, because they would take out so much money just to cash his check. It was a whole freaking big racket and whatnot. But it is what it is. But that, this is deep at the end of the day, and this has everything to do with people not being able to make a lot of money moves in today's world because they are not thinking strategically. And it's like I was telling the coworker today, a family is a corporation, whether people want to believe it or not. A family is a corporation. And if you're not willing to operate like a corporation, like the person I was talking to today, he's the only workhorse in his house. Everybody else does basic stuff. Kids go to school, wife stays at home. So, in 2022, he's struggling to get by and whatnot. He's been wearing the same clothes since I met him and whatnot. He's not able to really buy anything new because he's struggling every single day. And if, to me in 2022, and I told him, that's why I was just like, because we had a not a heated debate, but we had an adult conversation. And he was just like, "Well, Larry, why are you so passionate about people not really talking about politics?" I said, "Well, it's a waste of time." I said, "We live in a time frame where we've seen our generation, the millennial generation, have seen people who can not speak the English language or can barely speak the English language and not be able to vote, whether they're here legally or they're here illegally, be able to buy businesses, buy real estate, and make money moves. Have whole life insurance policies and make money moves. Invest in the stock market, invest in crypto, invest in bonds, and be able to make money moves. Because they get the way that things work in a capitalistic society, regardless of who's sitting in the White House, the governor's house, the mayor's house, and then Congress. Money moves are going to be made. That's why I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live, bro, like a fool. Okay, that's because that's what it is. At the end of the day, debating politics, at the end of the day, is just a waste of time. And to quote 19 Keys, rich people lobby, poor people vote. I'll leave it at that. You do with that with what you will, but that's just what it is. And I'll leave it, because I'm not going to get too much into politics. I don't care if you're left or right or in the freaking middle, independent, whatever you want to call yourself. The people that are making the power moves are when you look at the numbers and you look at the money, everything else becomes irrelevant. All right. Bills, regardless who's sitting in these political seats, bills still have to get paid. Families still have to get taken care of. It's just what it is. All right. And the thing is, if you are, and to end this video off, if you are a person who is benefiting off of not having to, having $10,000 taken off your student loans, especially if you're a person who's very close to paying your student loans off, and if this $10,000 could wipe out your debt, good. I'm happy for you in a real big way. But all I have to say now is that, okay, but then the next step is, what are you going to do next? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section if you're the one that if this is going to affect you in a big way in regards to getting your payment down or completely wiping your payment off. Let me know. Because then the question is, what are you going to do next? Because most working people's mindset is, hey, I paid this bill off. That means I can go on a nice vacation. Hey, I paid this bill off. I can buy myself a better car. Hey, I paid this bill off. Maybe I can get a better paying house to get myself in more debt. I'm just hearing debt, diggity, debt, diggity, debt, debt, debt. I'm hoping, I know not all, but I would hope minority, not a majority, a minority of people who this helps pay off their debts entirely, puts themselves in two positions: being able to save more money. No, I'm sorry, three positions: save more money, invest more money, and be able to open a business. Save more money, invest more money, and be able to open a business. I had the Las Vegas background behind me because a lot of times people live their life like they're steadily in a casino on a regular basis, meaning that every day of their life it's all a gamble. And eventually, if you live your life like it's all a gamble, then you're going to hit snake eyes. And I don't want that to happen to you all out there. So I can't put that any other way. But on that note, family, hopefully you guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. You know, student loan debt is a very serious issue, and I don't take it lightly, even though it doesn't affect me. But I know that it affects so many people out here. You know, regardless of what state you live in, what race you're a part of, what religion you're a part of, what political party you're a part of, it affects everybody in all different ways. So, you know, let's make some moves together. Because if not, like I said, you're either gonna make money moves or you're gonna live bro like a fool, family. It's real, it's deep. But so many people have been asleep, and now the chickens have come home to roost. This is a chance for your life to take a boost, like a booster shot. So boost it up to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I say that with all sincerity. Or as the old heads would say, I put that on everything, because that's all a part of the game. All right? On that note, do the great three things. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great night. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, do not forget to check out WEBULL, Stash, Acorn, Crypto.com, Coinbase. All those links will be in the description. And do not forget to check out my online store. Support your local entrepreneurs. Thank you for the Cash Apps, PayPals, Venmos, all that great stuff. It's always greatly appreciated. All right? On that note, family, I'm out of here. Take care and keep doing you. Make those money moves so you don't live bro like a fool. Mike, now.